Security was completely different in state government when I first joined in '97, and it all changed after 9/11. So my first day on the job, I came to downtown Lansing, Michigan. I came from an environment, we said I was in a US-UK military base in England. You know, barbed wire fences, German shepherds. And then I get to the state of Michigan, 180 degrees opposite. No guards, nobody checking your ID badge when you walked in the door. Literally on the first day on the job, there were signs up all over the building saying, watch your purse, watch your purse. I mean, they had no security. I remember saying, we need to have screensavers that are password protected. And they're like, and they used to tap me on the shoulder and say, Dan, we're not NSA now, are we? You know, they used to laugh at me. After 9/11, people said, well, what changed? Well, everything changed. I mean, people were like, you know, we have to secure the physical buildings. Obviously, you know, 9/11 terrorists blowing things up. We don't want that to happen. But we need to secure these websites. All of a sudden, the pendulum swung with cybersecurity as well. So I started my first job in Michigan after I came back from England. We were talking about England. In '97, I was an agency chief information officer. This was not just about security. So that comes 5 years later. And the main focus was Y2K, year 2000 project. It was really legit, and it was a real problem. I mean, there's no doubt people were over the top. I mean, buying land in Montana and selling your house and storing up food supplies in some bunker, that was over the top. But the issue itself was a real issue, and we had millions of lines of code that were in like retirement systems and large government systems throughout Michigan government that needed to be remediated, that were 2-digit. And we actually ran in a lab that these systems were gonna crash. If you just let it, you know, go to 00, the logic said it was 1900 and like everything else made no sense. The reality, like a lot of other problems, certainly in technology and cybersecurity, they were real issues. What happened was people fixed the problem. I mean, it was one of these things where, yeah, the bridge collapsed and we needed to build a new bridge. But back in 2003, 2004, I was first the CISO for the state of Michigan. So going back 20 years. And I was asked by a new boss at the time, Terry Takai. She had been CIO she'd been at Ford, and she came over to the state of Michigan. After she was the state of Michigan for 4 years, she went on to become CIO. She gave me an early task. It was to put Wi-Fi in all of our state conference rooms. I was against Wi-Fi. It wasn't secure. There were a lot of headlines in the local papers. You could, two big stories were in the local Detroit papers saying, you know, one at Home Depot, one at Lowe's. People were going in the parking lots and they were literally using the Wi-Fi to connect to the cash registers, download credit card numbers. I mean, they were basically not secure at all. And plus I had done my homework. I had NSA background I shared earlier. And so I had, I was against, you know, I had these white papers. I'd done all this research. NSA, CIA, DIA, FBI all said Wi-Fi is a bad idea. Don't do it. Don't. And at the time, the protocols were not very secure. They've gotten a lot better over the years. And everyone was doing war driving. So you could drive around the city in Michigan and Lansing and other cities and just literally access the Wi-Fi, no problem. I mean, basically anybody's network was wide open. And so anyway, we had the staff meeting, and in government, my boss, Terry, you know, had given me this task, and we got to, like, there's about 10 people in this big government conference room, all sitting around the table. She's at the end of the table. I was in the middle of the table. And she said to me, you know, Dan, you know, we got 5 minutes. Just give us a quick high-level overview of how we're going to do this project. Tell us how we're going to roll this out for the state. And I said, well, Terry, I'm canceling this project. And I really, I want to explain why. I know we don't have a lot of time. I've got this stack of white papers. I can go over the details. I got these headlines from Lowe's and Home Depot, and I handed out sheets of paper, and they went around the room, and they were handing out. And I said, so let me walk through the reasons why we need to cancel this project. And Terry said, stop. She said, I want everyone to leave the room but Dan. And everybody jumped up and ran out of the room. I mean, I've never seen in my whole life, my whole career in government, never seen this happen before, and it hasn't happened since. She got up, she comes down, she sits directly across from me. Everybody else is gone. I mean, I'm terrified. I didn't know what the heck. So she came and looked at me. She said, Dan, if that's your answer, you can't be the CISO in Michigan. And I said, no, Terry, let me explain. You don't understand. I've got these white papers. I got this backup material. I've done the research. I've got my whole team working on this. She said, Dan, we all know you're smart. You come from Johns Hopkins master's degree, NSA. You've got all the credentials. Everybody knows you're very smart. And I know why you're saying what you're saying, but I've been to Dow, Ford, Chrysler, and GM, and they all have Wi-Fi in their conference rooms. So what do they know that you don't know? She said, I'm giving you 1 week to figure this out and come back with a high-level plan. Not do it in a week, but come back with a plan next week at our staff meeting, or I want your resignation. I was 15 years into my career at this point. Up to that point, I was, maximum bonus, maximum. The scale was 1 to 5. I got a 6. I mean, I was always the top performer in every organization for 15 years that I had been, and I had never even contemplated getting fired ever. This was a revolutionary moment for me. It was like eye-shattering, life-shattering. I got back to my office. My whole team, literally, a couple of them met me in the parking lot because they had helped me put together this presentation. They're like, "You tell them we're not doing Wi-Fi. You tell them we're canceling the project." I said, "Oh no, everybody in the conference room right now, we're doing this project. You're calling Dow, you're calling Ford, you're calling Chrysler, you're calling General Motors. We're doing this project." And, we did. We rolled it out. 2 years later, we won the award for top Wi-Fi in all 50 states. The CISOs are known for saying no all the time. They're known, like, the answer is no, what's the question? I mean, that's the default. And then you say, well, that's not me. Okay. I didn't see that in myself, but that was the way everybody else was perceiving me, right? So you got to get to yes. That was the main message I learned. You got to get to yes. But the second thing I learned is, and the people say, oh, that's great. Okay, 20 years ago, Dan, come on. But I said, look, you can swap. This has been the story of my whole career, but it's the last 20, and it continues to be the story today. So what I mean by that is this: you can swap out the word Wi-Fi, put in cloud. So 8 years later was, cloud project. Can't do cloud. Why? Not secure. Bad idea. You can't do it. No encryption. No this. No that. Bad idea. Now after cloud came bring your own device to work. BYOD. After BYOD came IoT, Internet of Things. After IoT, now it is today AI. Can't do AI. Why? Bad idea. Not secure. Can't do it. Answer's no. What's the question? So the point being, the lesson I learned is I have to be an enabler. You have to be an enabler. You got to get to yes. And you say, yeah, but it's really hard. That's why you're in the role. That's why you're CISO. You've got to you've got to go do your research. Somebody has come up with a solution that is a secure solution to do what you want to do. You got to figure that out. And you got to bring those solutions to your enterprise, because you're probably not the first person that's facing whatever challenge you're facing. So, I mean, the reality of, at a very basic level, you got to be an enabler. You got to understand the business. You got to get to yes. Most of these challenges have been faced by others, and you can learn from them.